Hello, Elizabeth here, and today I'm going to show you how to crochet this super cute daisy granny square. This project is probably a little too advanced for people who are brand new to crochet, but as far as granny squares go, it's not too complicated. There are 3 sections or rows to complete, and they are mainly made up of double crochet stitches. I'm gonna walk you through everything step by step.
For this project, I'm using Red Heart Super Saver No. 4 medium worsted acrylic yarn in yellow, white, and purple. I'm using a 5mm crochet hook, a darning needle, and a pair of scissors. You can find links to these products in the description of this video. Starting with the yellow yarn, create a slip knot on your hook. Then chain 3. This is going to act as the first double crochet stitch in the middle of the daisy. Then we're going to be working double crochet stitches into that first chain we made. So you can yarn over, stick the hook through from front to back, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over again and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over once more and pull through the last 2 loops. This creates a double crochet stitch. So now you've got your chain 3 and your first double crochet, and you're going to keep working double crochet stitches into that same first chain hole 10 more times for a total of 12 double crochets, including that first chain 3. So again, yarn over, stick your hook in the chain, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Once you've got your 12 double crochets, what I should have done is a slip stitch into the top of the first chain 3 to join before fastening off. But I forgot to do that, so I cut my yarn and fastened off, and I like to use a darning needle to weave in my ends as I go. I use the pointy side of the needle to fray the end of the yarn and make it soft, and then I fold the yarn over the tip of the needle with some pressure and slide my needle out to make a nice flat fold. Then I stick the fold through the eye of the needle, and then I can go ahead and sew my ends in. Because I didn't join with the slip stitch, I just did that manually by sewing the tail into that first stitch and closing in the gap. I like to weave my tails back and forth a couple of times and then cut the end and stretch out my work to hide it underneath the stitches. I did that with both tails, and then the center of my daisy was complete. In the next round, we will be working into these V-shaped stitches at the top of each double crochet. You should have 12 of those. And we're switching to the white yarn now. So you can stick your hook through a stitch from front to back, grab your white yarn, make sure the tail stays on the back, and use the yarn coming from the ball to chain 3. And again, this chain 3 is going to act as a double crochet stitch. So now you're going to yarn over and go back into that exact same stitch to do a double crochet stitch. Now you've got your chain 3 and 1 double crochet in that stitch, and then you're going to do 1 more double crochet in that same stitch for a total of 3. Now we're going to turn that group of 3 double crochets into a popcorn stitch by removing the hook from that first stitch. Make sure your loop is a little bit loose to make it easy to grab back onto. Then you're going to stick your hook into the top of that first chain 3 from front to back and grab that 3rd stitch loop you just let go of. Pull the loop nice and tight and bring it through the first chain, and then chain 2. And that's going to close up the top of your daisy petal and kind of make it puff up towards you, which is why they call it popcorn. Then you're going to do the exact same thing into the very next stitch, but you will do 3 proper double crochet stitches into it as opposed to having the chain 3 we did in the previous stitch. There's our first of 3, and do it twice more. And again, I'll show you the popcorn stitch. So pull your last stitch a little looser and remove your hook. Insert it into the top stitch of your first double crochet. Grab the loop and pull it through, then chain 2. So now you've got 2 little puffed petals. And you're going to continue that in each stitch all the way around until you have a total of 12 petals. At the end of your final petal and chain 2, you're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of the very first chain 3 we did in the first petal. Then you're going to cut your yarn and fasten off. And once again, weave your ends in. You can see that the back side of the daisy where the petals are not puffed up isn't quite as pretty. This will stay on the back side of my project. So I tried to weave my ends in on that side as much as possible in case any little ends do poke out over time. And because of the chain 3 and my final joined slip stitch in the very first petal, there is a bit of a gap inside it. So when I weave in my ends, I just like to gently sew those together and connect them a bit more to close in that gap. And once your ends are weaved in, you've got your beautiful daisy. For the final round, we'll be working into the chain 2 spaces that are in between each of the petals. Next, you're going to take your colored yarn. I'm using purple, but you can use any color you like. And you can pick any of those chain 2 spaces to stick your hook through. Grab your colored yarn, leaving the tail on the other side, and using the yarn that's coming from the ball, you can once again chain 3. And again, that chain 3 is going to act as the first of 3 double crochet stitches. So you can do 2 more double crochet stitches into that exact same space. We are not going to do any chains before moving on to the next space. You're going to go right into your next double crochet stitch into the neighboring chain 2 space. And you'll do a total of 3 double crochet stitches. In the third space, we're going to do a stitch that we haven't done yet in this square, which is called a treble crochet. To do a treble crochet stitch, yarn over your hook twice. Then stick your hook through the hole and yarn over and pull through. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on your hook. Then yarn over and pull through 2 again, and yarn over and pull through the final 2 stitches. So you should now have 1 loop left on your hook, and that is a treble crochet. You're going to do that treble crochet stitch 2 more times. So yarn over twice, stick it back in that same space, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Now you've got 2 treble crochets, and once more we will do another treble crochet in that same space. And now we're going to shape the corner of the granny square. So to do that, we're going to chain 2. And then again, we're going to do 3 more treble crochets back into the same space we did the first 3. So now you've got 6 treble crochets with the chain 2 space between them, all in the same space. And that has created the first of the 4 corners of the granny square. Now you're going to go back to double crocheting and do 3 double crochet stitches in the next space. Then you'll do 3 more double crochets in the next space. And in the next space, there will be another corner. So again, we will do 3 treble crochets, chain 2, and 3 treble crochets all into that same space. So you should have 2 groups of 3 double crochet stitches in between your 2 corners. And you'll continue that same pattern twice more, doing groups of 3 double crochets in the next 2 spaces, and then the treble crochet corner, for a total of 4 corners on the granny square with 2 double crochet clusters of 3 on each side in between them. When you complete your final treble crochet stitch at the end of your 4th corner, don't worry about this wonky string, that's just my tail coming through on the wrong side. You're going to join with a slip stitch to the top of that first chain 3 we did. Then you can fasten off your yarn and weave in the last of your tails. And again, I do it on the back side without the puffed flower petals. And once your tails are weaved in, that's it, your daisy granny square is complete. I'm making mine all with the same purple border for the project I'll be making with these, which I'll be posting a tutorial for very soon, so stay tuned for that. But of course, you can mix and match many different border colors with multiple granny squares and sew them together for a really nice springy blanket or book bag or anything else you can think of.
I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and if you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel and leave a comment letting me know what sort of projects you'd like to see in the future. See you later!